Hello all and welcome to my channel. My name's Barbara Lee and my channel's name is A View From Here. And the reason I named it A View From Here is as a 64-year-old woman, I found myself in a position in life that was one I really never expected. And so it's a different view from where I'm at now. I feel like I'm looking at my whole life differently. It's a new view, a new perspective. And I'm not sure how anybody else feels, but I always have looked at life, if I'm going through something that's challenging, difficult, new, that I haven't had to embrace before, I always feel like there's others in the world that must be doing the same. I can't be alone on this journey, surely not. So that's what brought me here. I've been blogging a little bit on my Facebook page and my Instagram page, and that's named A View From Here. And then I thought, I seem to have a lot I want to get out. And I thought the only way to do that is to talk. I've moved to a small town. I haven't really connected with anyone here that I can share my deep and meaningfuls with. And so I thought, this is a nice way for me to be doing it. I'm doing this from my space in my lounge room. I'm quite nervous. I'm not at all familiar with cameras and how to look and how to use them. So just bear with me, and I know that I'll improve as I go. I'll get better equipment. I'll learn more. I just really, in all honesty, I just really hope and pray that this is something that other people can get something out of. I really wanted to share this with you. As I said, 64, it's not old, but it's older. It's old enough and scary enough to have the challenges that I'm facing in this time of my life. And I believe there's a lot of single women out there in their middle ages, in their later years, that didn't expect it, like I didn't expect it. I actually had a partner for nearly 20 years. It was an off and on relationship. There was a lot of red flags, as they call them. But somehow I just thought we'd resolved all those things and we were going to move into our old age together and we were going to have this amazing life together. I moved myself up to the country, 2.5 hours away from my family, to make what I believe, don't forget, this was my belief, that would make him really happy, that would make him appreciate and love me more, because I had sacrificed that time away from my family to do his dream. Well, that didn't work. And it went off and on for quite some time. We were together and then apart, and we'd try again, and because there was a lot of good in it. But it was difficult and it was complicated. And for me, I lost so much of my own self in that relationship. I gave myself to him. I virtually treated him as the person I wanted to make happy. I didn't consider myself through that time. I tried, and then I would fall away again because it didn't please him when I was pleasing myself in any way. If I was spending more time with my family, he would be upset. If I was pursuing something that I thought was good, there was a putting down. So it was very much be by his side, do what he wants, and assist him in his life and dreams. And that's what I did. And whether that was said in words, actual words, this is what I want you to do, that probably never happened. But what happened was this belittling of things that were pleasing to me. If I wanted to go ahead and start a business on our property, it was always too soon. I was silly. What am I thinking? We're not prepared. I don't want this. It was a constant put down, so that I never got to pursue what I wanted to pursue, thinking that's what we'd be. We were going there to have a life together and get on with it. I will give you that story in bits because it's part of the journey, why I am where I am today. But eventually we did separate, and eventually we really not even friends anymore, and we don't have communication, very, very little. And I have found myself at 64 years old, living in another country town, thinking that that was a bit of the answer to what I needed just to get away and have my own space, be close enough to my children. It's a shorter drive, it's an hour and a half instead of 2.5 hours. And I've discovered this is not for me either. And I felt a bit lost when I got here. Very alone, very lonely. I don't know the last time I can remember feeling lonely. Alone, yes. That loneliness, that heaviness, no. And for those of you who have experienced it, it's painful, isn't it? And it's weighs very heavy on the heart and the soul. But in that time of this lonely time, this loneliness, it's also brought me this amazing perspective. My view from here. This is my view. This is my opportunity to go, it's you. You're making these choices. You're not doing for your children anymore. You're not bringing them up. They have their own lives, their own families or marriages, and which are families, yeah. They don't all have children, but they are doing life really well, right? So I've been a partner for 20 years, and prior to that, I was a wife, a mother. So I've always had a label. And now, interestingly enough, I'm Barbara. Barbara, who's got this life in a country town. I work full time. It's something I haven't done since 1985. I haven't worked full time. I've worked every day, but it was never full time. It was always 9 till 3 or 10 to 3. It suited my family life. So now, going into this space, this is interesting. This has been very different. Full-time work, not a lot of time for me. Most weekends I'm going to Melbourne to catch up with my family and friends, and then I'm back at work and doing it all again. And that's why I really started to blog, as I call it. I just had these emotions sitting heavy on my heart, and I want that to be shared. I want that to be heard. And the reason that I say that is I just find, this is, again, it's my opinion because this is what I observe in life or have observed over years, that in Australia we're very conservative. We keep our emotions to ourselves. We don't like to be vulnerable. We don't like to, we don't like to be a burden to anybody. So I'm not going to tell anybody, they're not going to be interested. I don't want to burden them with my problems. So how are you? Yeah, good, thanks. Really good. Really? And so it's very rare that we share what's going on. Now, before I started this channel or thought about starting this channel, I Googled. I wanted to know who's doing what out there. Well, there's women who are basically motivating, telling us what to do, how to do it, how to mindset. But there wasn't anyone that I found, and you might have found her or him, an Australian person particularly, that was sharing their lives, where they've been and how they're managing it, so that we can share, we can offload with each other. Now, prior to my life working full-time, what I'm doing now in this country town, I was doing some kinesiology, I was taking meditation classes, I'd also ran a couple of retreats, and I really, really loved that work. The one-on-one kinesiology to me got very difficult around that COVID period. A lot of people were getting very sick from all sorts of things, and I'm not going to go there. It's controversial in so many ways, so I'm keeping out of that. But it was something that I was not happy dealing with. So I pulled away from that, and then as I was doing that, pulling away, I was also pulling away from my meditation classes because I found that my spiritual aspect was leaving, and there was this extreme, I don't know how to word it. It was like, well, I started to channel. I've always been very intuitive, even as a young child, and that was okay. But this was different, and I didn't like it. It doesn't feel right to me. And then I started reading the Bible, and that actually just left me feeling very content. The Bible to me was something that I could lean on. It was God's word as it's written and says in the Bible. So I felt that I could lean into God, I could lean into Jesus, and I could unburden my issues and my problems and where I'd been in my life and how I felt uneasy and things weren't as I wanted them to be or had envisioned my life to be. And that gave me a lot of peace and a lot of help. And I still love to pray. That hasn't changed. I love to pray. It's like meditation, and it's a beautiful offloading. And I have a little giggle because I go, oh my goodness, poor God, he's just hearing this again. But I do. I just constantly lay my problems at God's feet. And I don't want that to be something that you're going to be afraid of when you hear me say that. It's what I lean into. And you may lean into something else. I get my strength from that. Others will get their strengths from other things, other universal love and light. And that's all good. People have different names. And I don't want to turn you away. I want you to get strength from my words and what we talk about and what we share on this page. I really ask that page channel. I'll get used to it. And bear with me with my eyes and where they're placed and the flickering. I'm just learning. So I ask again for you to be patient with me as I grow doing this channel, as I grow, as I speak, as I learn different things and how to set up. I really would like you to be patient. So the perspective that I got from when I moved here, and after the first few weeks, of course, the first few weeks I was here, it was very exciting. I was settling in. I had a new position. I was making lots of changes in that position. It's a management position, so it gave me authority to make some changes and do some things. And I was working, I shouldn't say I am still working in a garden centre, so I was able to make a lot of arrangements with buying new plants and rearranging, and it's very creative work, and I really, really love that part of it. But once all that waned down and it was all set up and all I'm doing now is buying stock and seeing customers, it's all lovely, but there was a lot of me left. And at the end of the day, I come home, I cook, and there was me. And it wasn't hectic anymore, and I didn't have to think about what I was going to do the next day. But I could think a lot about me, my life, and where I've been, what's happened, and how I got here. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm being selfish, that it was all about me, because it's certainly not all about me. But me came up. I haven't had me in my life for quite some time. I've had other things. I've had my partner, and my focus, as I said, was on him. So now it was me. Wow, what are you going to do, Barb? How do you feel? And I felt that emptiness. And as I said, at 64, I thought I'd be partnered for the rest of my life. I saw myself on the property with my beloved man. I had all these ideas of what I'd love to do there. And my children at one stage were visiting a lot. And then everything changed. So that when those dreams left and my man and I separated, my heart was empty for a while. I have a lot of love to share, and So don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my family. I love my children, my grandchildren, my friends, my sisters, nephews. And nieces. I feel full of gratitude for the amount of love that I have in my life. The beautiful family I have and the extended family. Like, it's just wonderful. Did I mention my daughter-in-laws? Sorry. It'll play on me now. I'll finish this video and go, oh, I didn't think that. But that's my gratitude. My gratitude is very much my family, my extended family, my friends. I'm full of love for them. And I feel that love in return. But it was a bubble that burst that was almost running alongside of that. It's a different love, isn't it? I mean, those of us who have had relationships and share a relationship with somebody even now and feel that love, it's different than the love you have for your family. It's a deeper connection, that you're sharing something with them that you don't maybe share with your children or your female friends. And I'm not talking about the intimacy in the bedroom. I'm talking about the intimacy when you talk deeply with somebody and share your life, and you might explore your life with somebody, your past life, as in your childhood, the way you were treated, the way you feel about that. And then that's that emptiness. It's gone. That's sitting with someone on the couch, putting your feet up on their lap, having their feet on your lap, cooking a meal and having them in mind, planning a day with them in mind, talking about what are we going to do today? And then you wake up and it's you. What am I going to do today? Where am I going to go today? What do I feel like doing? What do I want to eat today? There's no sharing. It's not a constant sharing. I might ring a friend and say, what do you want to do today? Or are you free? Are you home? Do you want to get together? I might do that with my sisters, but it's not a constant sharing and thinking about somebody else. Caring about them. Asking them. Cooking for them. Walking with them. So that's the emptiness and that's the loneliness. And so to fill that loneliness and not go back to the same issues, the same problems, that was very important to me. There is no way that I want to go back and be with that man ever again. It's so important for me that I stand back and go, no, we're done, we've completed, we tried really hard. At least I did. I know in my part, I can't speak for him, I know in my heart how difficult that relationship was and how I really tried. And I'm sure he'll have his story. But I say no to it. It is done, completed, finished. So I don't then want to meet somebody in the future and that I go, oh, they're similar. Oh, that feels nice and familiar. I want to pick that up from there and go off with somebody and have the same issues all over again. That's a definite no-no. So I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of listening. I started off listening a lot about narcissism and toxic relationships, and that was really important for me. Not to label somebody, not to have that person put in a box, but for me to learn about my part that I played in that relationship and why I played it. I also did some really good life coaching and therapy with a brilliant woman named Katerina Smiley from Empowering People. She's also a very good friend of mine. I could trust her 100% with my inner core feelings, and that was such a difficult thing for me to do because I'm one of those people that being vulnerable is very scary. Being vulnerable and sharing my feelings was really scary. And I'm not feeling scared about those things anymore. I am a vulnerable person. I cry a lot more these days. I let the tears come up. I feel my sadness and my disappointment. But I don't feel bitter anymore. Believe me, I did. I went through the feeling so outraged, so bitter, so angry, so hurt. When I used to think about the things that had happened in my life, the words that had been said to me, the different situations that I felt I was in with this person, I would feel rage. I would feel this hurt that I thought would break me. The disappointment was out of control. But then I wanted to learn that that's still giving to somebody else, isn't it? When I'm feeling angry, resentful, bitter, hurt about somebody else's behaviour, I'm giving that to them. And I no longer wanted to give that person anything. I had to turn it around. I had to bring that energy back to myself, not the anger and nothing negative, but any energy had to be given to me. I want to heal. I want to be a better version of myself than I was 5 minutes ago. So if I'm holding on to all that is disempowering me, I'm not moving forward in any way in my life. So through those feelings of anger, hurt, sadness, it was a lot of tears, there was a lot of feeling this gut-wrenching feeling in my stomach, there was a lot of heartache, deep, heavy feelings. And I would allow myself to have those feelings. I would allow myself to feel angry and hurt and disgusted, disappointed, bitter. I would cry, I would grieve. I'm grieving something that I thought I would have into my old age. I'm grieving this pain that was unimaginable because I knew this time it was for good. I had to get through every little bit of pain. I had to go as deep as I could. And I wanted to know why. Why did you stay with a person who was so disrespectful to you, Barb? Why did you stay? So I needed to know my own story. And I needed to go back into my childhood, not again to be rude about my parents and what and who they were and how they brought me up. Because I understand 100% that they did the best, absolutely best they could. They were brilliant people, interesting and amazing, and that is another story. And I know that they love me deeply. But we also have words that cut deep. It was also a generational thing. Be seen, not heard. Don't talk about those things, keep it quiet. You know, it was we didn't have those deep and meaningfuls. We just didn't. And so a lot we kept to ourselves. It was this stoicness in a way that, you know, no tears, no sadness, no depression, just get on with things. And I did. And that stood me in good stead. And I'm not going to criticise that at all, because there was a lot of good lessons in those times. You did have to fall down, brush yourself down and get up and move on. There's nothing wrong with that. I think what was dismissed was the feeling. You know, I know you must be hurting, but we need to move on from that now. I know you're sad and I'm here for you, but we need to move on right now. So that you're acknowledged and being told to move on. Maybe there's a better balance in that. I'm not sure. I'm no expert, and I won't claim to be. All I want to share with you on this channel is where I'm at, so I can know where you're at and we can share, and that if I'm progressing, and I know I am, I've got some great ideas in my head. I'm looking to move closer to my family. I'm working out how to do that. And I have a lot of passion, and I feel I've got a lot of purpose. And that is expression of myself. I am no longer afraid to be me. I am no longer afraid to voice who I am. And I don't want to hurt anybody. So I am only ever speaking from my perspective. I love life. I'm full of gratitude. I love God. I love Jesus, and it's helped me so much in my life. And I am growing and learning every day. And I know that even though I've been through the last 18 months in a very painful, it's been very painful. I felt a lot of angst and a lot of pain. There's also been a lot of joy, and the joy is what is showing more and more these days. The appreciation, the gratitude. That's my life. And when I let go of that bitterness and that anger and that list of heavy emotions I had, there was space for excitement. There was space for something new. And that young girl who loved to have a chat, who loved expression, who loved to write, she's there. She hasn't gone away. She's just able to come forward now and walk with me. And I'm proud of her. And I want her to know that. And I want her to know, as I want myself in my adult life to know, emotions are okay. But emotions that are negative, as we put them, aren't necessarily negative. We just don't want to live in that. We want to live in joy. So there's emotions, and then there's this constant joy that's in my heart, because that's my gratitude, that's my life. But it doesn't mean I can't be emotional, that I don't get hurt or sad or angry. I just don't hang on to it anymore. It has no place with me. Joy does, happiness does, getting excited does, because that's absolutely what I love in life. I love having a passion about direction and where I want to go. I love decorating. I love going out with friends. I love connection with people. I like to assist people and guide them through hard times. I love to hear their stories. And so that's what I want to do here. So please join me again. I'd love to see you again next week. It's been great meeting you. It's been great catching up. If you've seen me before, doing other things, and now doing this. I appreciate your time, and please come back again, and let's do this again together. Bye for now.